Hey there, comic friends. I'm Travis, and it's New Comic Book Day. Yay! Or at least New Comic Book Day for me. Of course, these are comics from last Wednesday. These are comics from August 29th. So my comics kind of got lost somewhere. And this week's comics that should have been shipped yesterday got shipped UPS. So I won't get them until next Wednesday, if I'm lucky, kind of thing. So yeah, comics. So I'll be power reading to have them done by this weekend, or read them over the weekend. No comic book roundtable this week. I am working on closing, so I will be at work late, and I'm not sure how many of these books I'll actually technically get read by the time it would be the weekend. But anyway, so no comic book roundtable this week. No comic book roundtable Saturday. What's going on with me? What's going on with me in my comic book world? A little bit of what the Fugue. I am coming up on my anniversary. I meant before I turned this thing on live to go and look how many years I have been doing the channel. 6 years. Is that right? It's 6, or is it 7? I don't remember anymore. It's been a long time. My content, my output isn't as great as what it once was. I mean, there was a time where I put out at least 4 videos a week. I don't do that anymore. Largely right now, just because I don't have the energy, still trying to adjust to the new job that I have. And once the growing pains of it get over with, and that should change to some degree. I don't know if I'll ever go back to doing like the monster comic reviews and my no capes videos that I used to kind of do. Of course, the monster comic reviews were just called that because we had a monster amount of books that me and Ethan back in the day used to talk about. And the no capes clearly were just the books that weren't superhero oriented and or weren't the big two, kind of a deal. So I don't know. I don't know if I'll go back to that, any of that or not. I part of me thinks not. Maybe if the disembodied voice gets caught up on comics again and we both have time, maybe we'll talk some comics at some point. Another change. I don't know if this will be the permanent change, but I'm retiring. I'm going to retire the Batman backdrop. I need some sort of a backdrop, but the Batman backdrop was always originally just kind of a laugh than it was the reality of what I was going to have for a backdrop. I needed something at the time. It was a sheet that was originally Ethan's, and he didn't like it because it's not very soft material. So I just, it's a comic book related, so I thought I'd use it. But it's not like I'm all about the Batman. So anyway, yeah, so I'm retiring that. I keep saying it, but it's going to happen soon. It's got to happen soon because it's frustrating me that I'm not doing it. I have a different kind of talking about comic books that I want to do, where I just kind of randomly pull something out of my collection and talk about it. Originally, the idea was I was going to do it weekly, and it was going to be me just reviewing the first page of a comic randomly pulled out of my collection. It's pulled out and open up to the first page. We're going to look at the first page and do that. So I may still be largely that, but I think I'm going to focus on the whole book. Just because I know there are a lot of first pages that don't hold up. There's some awesome, great first pages of comic books, but there's lots of them that don't hold up either. So that may be more of a bummer of a video than a positive. So I'm going to probably is talk about single issues as far as that goes. Comic Roundtable is still going to be around. I'm still going to keep doing that. I enjoy doing that. I kind of like doing it a week late. That would not have to worry about spoilers quite so much. Not that we ever worried about that too much. But then there's no pressure to try and hurry up and get the books read by the weekend to talk about them if other people want to come on the show. I'm way behind on catching up on comments. The people have commented on my videos. I hope to fix that here soon. Not this weekend because I'm working this weekend, but hopefully, like I said, soon. Get some new people on the Comic Book Roundtable. Always interested in that. I've had some people offer. I need to actually touch base with them and see about making that happen. The other things, I've had some I've had some comments and some personal messages sent to me about the way I talk about comics occasionally and whatnot. And I don't feel like I talk about comics nearly as in depth as what I used to. I can get extremely geeky about comic books and how they're put together, the panel lays out, the pages and all that kind of stuff and whatnot. But I've kind of moved away from that largely due to time. But maybe I need to move back to that more to some degree. So I'm not just regurgitating, oh, I like this, it was interesting, and then moving on to the next book. Sometimes I don't have more to say than that, but it feels like sometimes I should. So maybe we'll get some more videos that get a little more in depth and whatnot. For me, the Comic Book Roundtable is more about just hanging out with friends and just kind of getting a base feeling of what each of us thought of the book or whatever, kind of a thing, and whatever conversation comes from that and whatnot. But this channel has always been and will continue to be a hobby for me. This is my fun time to hang out and talk comic books. And if I'm lucky, I get to have a conversation with some of you about things that I love, comic books. This channel has never been or never will be a professional channel. So I'm not so concerned about a lot of things. I don't have special backdrops. I don't mic myself particularly specially. I have better lights now, but I haven't been using them because I've been doing a lot more videos where I'm sitting in front of my computer instead of sitting in front of my camera. And I guess I want to keep it that way. I mean, I don't want to put out crap for you guys to watch and whatnot, but like I said, this is a hobby and it's more about me just having fun and another way to connect with other people who read comic books and whatnot. I largely live in a space where I don't have I don't have a local comic book store to go to and just talk comics with people and whatnot. So this is my way. This is my version of going to the comic book store and talking comics with people. And that's why I do it. So, to some degree, my videos, especially like the roundtable and whatnot, I'm there to talk comics with people who are chatting with me. And if you watch it after the fact, awesome. And enjoy it and want to engage too, that's cool. Like I said, nothing about special, not looking for money, not looking for subscribers. Having subscribers are awesome. That's a great thing. But not the most important thing. I just want to engage with some people and have some fun. The world that I come from as a kid reading comic books and just being kind of a geeky kid anyway, finding anybody else that had the same interest to me, it was like we were instantly blood and you were the coolest it could be. And with the larger community or geek culture or whatever you want to call it has kind of become something else. It's really strange that this gatekeeping and whatnot to try and keep people from liking the same stuff you like, or you have to like it the same way that they like it and whatnot. It still continues to be alien to me and ridiculous. Because like I said, I'm old enough that you got beat up for liking comics and whatnot, or people attempted to beat you up for liking comics and stuff. So finding other people like comics was always awesome. So it's unfortunate that there's this whole other element in YouTube that's kind of potentially soured people on YouTube and soured people on comic books and this kind of format and whatnot. And right now, because for whatever reason, the hating on stuff generates more views. That's what crops up when you just type in, comic book YouTube and whatnot. But I'm gonna keep doing my thing, and I'm hoping that I find more people that are doing the same thing I'm doing, where we're just here to, chat about comics and whatnot. And in the comments, Johnny Costa's on, and he's saying he misses my green screen. I still have the green screen. I still actually have an entire room with green painted walls I can use as a green screen. I'm apprehensive to use the to be in front of that unless I'm actually going to manipulate it, because I don't want to be normally in front of a green screen. So certain people can then green screen me into whatever else. Not that your Photoshop skills are pretty good about chopping me out of things and putting me other places anyway, but I don't want to make it easier for people than need be. But anyway, so hopefully this year we'll do some a little bit different stuff, some stuff that's all the same. But anyway, yeah, I mean, another year. And I don't see myself stopping anytime. I do enjoy this. Some days it's a chore, and the days it's a chore, I just don't show up. But anyway, let's look at this week's book. So this is the 5th week. It's traditionally the week that you don't get a lot of comic books. I actually got 14. And most of them are not the normal kind of thing. I think one book is a standard book. But the rest of them are like oddball stuff, either annuals or that sort of a thing. So let's see what we got, because I don't even know. Oh, okay. So Red Hood and the Outlaws issue number 2, annual number 2. That is. So I don't know where is this comic going, right? So we're going to get this individual Red Hood by himself. He's getting a whole new costume. He's walking around with a tire iron that looks more like a crowbar to me. So I don't know. We'll see. Up until this last issue, I've really been enjoying Red Hood and the Outlaws. So we'll see where it all spins to. I've heard rumor has it that in this issue, it kind of implies that Roy Harper, Arsenal, is going to the Heroes in Crisis thing, and maybe he's the person that's going to get killed. What do you think? I'm still hoping it's Red Robin. I'm still hoping it's Tim Drake that gets killed in the Heroes Crisis, but whatever. So yeah, we'll see. I never take annuals for being much of anything, but I think this kind of still, written by Lobdell, it still moves the story forward, I would guess. But yeah, that last issue of Red Hood seemed really weird to me. People out of character and whatnot. Oh, book I'm really excited about. It has been really, really cool and super suspenseful. A Walk Through Hell. Yeah, John is saying that that Batman hit him harder than he hits the Joker, which is very true. And didn't he seem incredibly unreasonable? To me, it just seemed, just way flying off the handle. The beginning of Red Hood starts out, issue 1 basically starts out with implying that he is assassinated the mayor of Gotham. And clearly he hasn't. So why does Batman then turn right around and the instant assumption is again that he killed the Penguin? Because he can't have killed the Penguin, right? The Penguin's not actually dead. That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so Walk Through Hell, issue number 4. Garth Ennis book. It's super suspenseful. It's just got some really weird stuff going on, and boy, I need to change the lighting, don't I? Because that's like weird show. Anyway, just a really strange, suspenseful story that's kind of told in non-sequential order. Parts of it, there's lots of kind of interesting flashbacks to fill in the characters and the situation that puts them where they're at. They're stuck in this warehouse where everybody's basically dead inside of it. They found, they're FBI agents. Our main characters are FBI agents. They found one agent that's there that's repeatedly shooting himself in the head. He has not died. Oh, he's dead, but he's still animated and still shooting himself in the head. They've literally taken the bullets out of the gun, and he's still shooting himself in the head. They actually then jam the gun so the gun can't shoot anymore, and the guy's still attempting to shoot himself in the head. Neither one of them have pulses. They've checked each other's pulses, and neither one of them have pulses. So I just do not know what's going on, but it's super intense. There's this like serial killer in it. They capture either children and torture them to death. He has a group of people helping him do this, and then somehow he convinces the groups of people that help him do this to kill themselves. So we finally are meeting this supposed, super serial killer. see where that goes from there. I mean, I'm intrigued by this cover. It's a birdhouse with a parka hanging off of the birdhouse. So, I mean, what's that? What's the symbolism there? Just really curious to see what that all ends up playing out to be. So, issue 4 of Blackwood. This was a lot of fun. This Evan Dorkin, Veronica, and Andy Fish comic book. It's been a lot of fun. It has kind of a light horror 80s feel to it to some degree. You know, the monsters show up. They figured out how to, you know, they have to fight it. It's not very Harry Potter like, but it is at a school that all this chaos is happening in. Not sure how this issue ends, but they're already planning on more miniseries of Blackwood later on. So I'm curious for that. It's fun. It's not anything really deep, but just some fun art and some fun kind of monster bashing sort of stuff. Kind of a more horror, a little less goofy than Ghostbusters, but kind of the same vein to some degree, I guess. So anyway, but it's been fun. Been enjoying it. Euthanauts issue number 2. I really enjoyed issue number 1. Love the art in it. The art by Robles is quite good. So it's basically a story about the exploration of life after death, basically implying that it's the last thing that man has not explored. You've explored space, you've explored water, whatever, but what happens to us after death, that exploration has not been explored. And that's kind of what this is. That's why it's the Euthanauts is the title on it. We'll see where it really goes. Teenie Howard, I haven't read a lot of her stuff, but this hasn't been bad. But like I said, Robles' art just has a great kind of a rich look to it, a Vertigo style, if you want to call it that, if that's a style. I really like it. And they're kind of exploring the dead. There's this girl who runs she's a mortician. She runs a funeral home, but she's also at the same time trying to just, you know, live a normal life. But do you live a normal life when that's what you do? She's kind of haunted by some ghosts. She seems to be kind of tapped into the ethereal in some sense. So she's kind of seeing both sides of the world. Yeah, so we'll see what it ends up being like. But these ghosts have kind of implied, hey, we want your help to explore this stuff. So we'll see what transpires in issue 2 of the Black Crown comics. I got a couple of Black Crown comics this week. And boy, these bags are pretty crappy. So House of Muck, issue number 1. If you've been reading the Black Crown quarterly book, there has been some small short stories, 2 or 3 pages, short stories in that leading up to House of Muck. It's basically if these twin girls and their family go on a field trip to either end the world or save the world. People aren't quite sure from things man was not meant to know. So we'll see how this. Sebla's written, McManus art, Lou Ridge on colors. Lou Ridge is an excellent colorist. So ooh, look at that. That title page is wicked. That blurry look is not my camera. That blurry look is the picture. So but yeah, I mean they're at this gas station. They rob a convenience store with some sunglasses and stuff, and chaos ensues. And so we saw some of that in one of the previews. But anyway, so yeah, I look forward to see what it's like too. John's asking me if I'm picking up a lot of horror lately. Yeah, I have been picking up a lot of horror and dark books. But mind you, it also makes the fun books I get feel that much more fun. You know, like I'm getting like West Coast Avengers, and it's just kind of a fun, light book that's just a laugh. And I don't know, I enjoy those too. I enjoy Super Sons quite a bit, and it's kind of a light, fun book also. But yeah, it seems to me like, look at that background image. It seems to me like there's a lot of horror and dark comics out right now that I'm actually enjoying. I'm starting to get a little pickier because there's going to be so many of them. But anything that's dark future or just dark more than horror, I gravitate towards that stuff anyway. I've always kind of enjoyed that. that kind of stuff. So tends to tickle my fancy. So yeah. Anyway, New World. The New World. This is Alice Cott, Trade Moore. I love the first issue. That oversized first issue was awesome. About these kind of, it's the future world. There's been 5 atomic bombs have gone off in America. It's kind of fractured America. It's kind of separated it into its own little countries. This is dealing mostly with California and people trying to get out of California potentially. But there's these like super cops that are followed around with cameras, and it's entertainment, them arresting people and whatnot. And one of our super cops is also the granddaughter of the president. And she has kind of had a one-night fling and potentially is kind of emotionally in love with a guy who's kind of been earmarked as public enemy #1 kind of thing. So we'll see what happens. Probably the most straightforward Alice Cott book I have ever read, the first issue was. So we'll see where where the book goes to from there. The art in it was the first issue was just awesome. It just has this great, I want to say simplicity to it, but it's not simple at the same time. It just is, and eyes firing on all cylinders in this book. It's just some pretty outstanding looking stuff. Look at that. That's an awesome splash page. I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know if he's tripping on drugs or exactly what's going on there, but it is pretty awesome. The art alone, it's not super wordy, so it really hangs a lot on these incredible images. Like here they are driving, right? I love that in the background of them racing because they're going really fast. Just that R back there, that in the background, that is awesome. I love stuff like that. That to me, that's just some cool stuff. But yeah, so I'm really curious. I mean, I don't know. It seems to almost be like it's a love story of sorts, but set in this kind of bizarre, future kind of thing and whatnot. So yeah, I'm digging it. Quite a bit. I'm liking the art enough that there's actually some art. There's some art for this book for sale, original art. So hey, I just need more original art, right? So the one comic I think is just part of the regular old just stuff that comes out is Batgirl issue number 26. I have been enjoying Batgirl. This is Art of the Crime part 1. This is with our new writer Scott on it. Really like the cover. Oh, Sean Murphy Gordon cover. Duh. So I like the cover. We'll see what the story itself is like. And we'll see if I keep getting it. I don't dislike it. But we'll see. It's a change, and we'll see what they do with Batgirl. It hasn't been this deep book. It's not been grim or gritty. It's been a lot of fun though. I have enjoyed it. So we'll see where we're at. Maybe it's time to move on from Batgirl. I don't know. I don't know why I'm feeling that way. Maybe I'm just not, with a change or something. I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see what it ends up being like. So this is issue 26, and also Batgirl Annual number 2, also written by Scott. Casagrade is doing the art on this issue. I'm excited for that. The last real thing I remember her really doing was she was doing Suicide Risk. His last heavy amounts of work that was done. So we'll see where this goes. This dips. What's really interesting is that this new writer dips back into a lot of stuff that Hope Larson kind of touched on in the book. It looks like. So we'll see where that goes. Like I said, I like this artist. I'm glad to see her back working. I think she should do more work. I don't know, what's really going on with that artist or what she's been working on that maybe I just don't know about. But I think she's a decent artist. So it's kind of cool to see her doing some work. So we'll see. We'll see about Batgirl. A book I'm not 100% sold on. So we'll see where we go with that and how many issues. I can't remember how many issues it is. This is Bone Parish. This is issue number 2, Colin Bunn story. I'm reading a lot of Colin Bunn stuff. and so basically the premise of this is they're in Louisiana, and there are some drug dealers that deal in a special kind of drug. And the drug, basically part of the ingredients of the drug is ashes from the dead. And then when you consume the drug, you kind of relive or experience the dead person's existence in some way. Either you relive it, or it can engage in with the dead and whatnot. So kind of an interesting premise. We'll see where they go. The first issue kind of gave us that, but then also established that it's going to be this big fight. The New York mobs have shown up into Louisiana, and they want to buy them out. And this small little drug family does not want to sell out. They want to continue to maintain their thing. So far, everything's been great, but people are starting to have bad trips now. There's a guy who takes some, and in the last issue, and he's starting to have this wild like foursome with 3 strippers. And you're thinking, woo, it's gonna be awesome for him, and then it goes really bad. They get like skeletal faces, and they freaking kill him, and he ends up dead. And I'll be curious to find out exactly what that ends up being like and whatnot. Like I said, the art is cool in it. I just don't know that I'm 100% sold on this funky drug. One of the things that's interesting about it, well, that's some cool art in the club, is that the leader of this small crime family that's developed this drug, she's using the drug herself, but that's so she can see her dead husband. But she's almost out of the drug. So, and you don't find out that it's her dead husband until the very end of the issue. You know, this is a guy that's just along, and she's talking to him all the time. You think, okay, no big deal. But in reality, she's not talking to anybody. So, but no, I mean, oh, I meant to look to see how many issues it said it was. This is Boom Studios. It does not say. I thought it did, because I didn't think it was a lot of issues, but because I was thinking it was like a 5-issue miniseries or something like that, maybe. Anyway. Now, John, I don't know that you missed anything. I mean, you'll find it, right? You'll find it a year from now, you know, in a dollar bin somewhere or whatnot, and be able to check it out if you really want to. I'll let you know, though. I'll let you know if suddenly issue 2 like suddenly blows my mind and you should be scrambling to find it. But I don't think you're missing anything. I mean, but maybe that concept grabs you more than it grabs me. It just doesn't grab me a whole lot. So, Isola, issue number, I want to say 5, 4 or 5. And if the number is on that cover, I have no idea. Because the graphics are great story, beautiful art. It's really largely about the art. There's not a lot of words to the book. It's mostly just gorgeous art. It's high fantasy, shape-shifting, prince, soldiers trying to save their queen, sort of stuff going on. Like I said, I don't know exactly what's going on in it. I don't think we've got the whole picture. I don't think we're supposed to have the whole picture, but it's beautiful. It's issue 5. That's what issue it is. But yeah, so yeah, I'm looking forward to checking it out. It's a quick read because it's not a lot of words. You're right, John. The Bone Parish is a cool looking cover. The covers are by Lee. The covers are by Lee Garbett, and I like Lee Garbett's art. Lee is doing interiors for Skybound. Is that what it's called? Which I quit reading because I wasn't. A lot of people really like it, but I wasn't feeling it. But I really like his art. He was doing like the most of the current Loki stuff too. So anyway, and finally this time around, it is Ms. Marvel, the other regular comic. I don't know if I'm just late getting this or if it actually came out in the 5th week. Issue 33. We'll see what Kamala gets up to. I've been enjoying Ms. Marvel. So it's going to be a fun book. All right, that's it. 14 issues. Get these read. Maybe I'll talk about them next week at some point. But that's it. Thank you all for tuning in and chatting, John. Appreciate it. Anybody else who watches? Yeah. So with that, I'm going to call it a night, read a few comic books, and go to bed so I can work another 14-hour shift tomorrow. Anyway, have a great one, everybody, and catch you next time.